So the defense is, and Nickel may very well come up with it. The defense is allow the queen of clubs to hold, shift to the spade, whether it's the jack or the six, and Nickel, of course, has to come to the king of hearts at some point, and the defense can take 5 tricks. It looks like 4 hearts would probably have gone down as well. So Garcia simply takes the ace of clubs, hopes for 4 hearts, 4 diamonds, and 2 black aces, and we'll end up going down, let's see, 5 clubs and 1 heart or 6. We'll end up going down 2 tricks, it appears. So no game contract appears to be makeable on this particular hand, but the extra 50 points might end up creating a 2-imp swing, or something else unusual may happen at the other table. Taking a peek in the other room, and they don't seem to have taken their seats yet at that table. I'm asked about live video feeds. I must apologize and say that I don't have any information on that topic. I'm sitting here in Southern California and have been reading quite a bit today about the players that have been disqualified, or teams that have withdrawn, or pairs that have had their credentials removed for this tournament. So I'm afraid I didn't catch anything about whether we will see live video. I know that substantial plans were being made for extensive video recording for possible future use and publication on the internet. Welcome Ricardo Zampino to the written commentary, along with superstar Karen Allison. So we have one expert from the USA and one from Argentina, it seems. So I believe Katz will open a 15 to 17 point no trump. Indeed he does. Kel has quite a nice hand with a 6-card weakish heart suit. So we'll see just what their methods are here in terms of approaching slam. We can see that the heart suit splits out, that the diamond suit provides a discard of a spade in declarer's hand, and that the club finesse is offside. So these are some of the most difficult hands to bid in bridge, and that would be a relatively balanced 15 opposite another relatively balanced 15. They certainly don't have any singletons in either hand, or of course no voids. So Nickel starts with 2 clubs. And I'm not clear on what this sequence is going to be meaning. And there we go. We get an alert, which means that 4 hearts, oops. Well, not sure what's happened here. I was going to predict or presume that Nickel was making a slamish try in hearts. Cats clearly hasn't taken it that way. Cats doesn't have a control in spades, so my only question is whether 4 spades is some kind of ace asking bid over the apparent slam try in hearts. There is a suggestion that Nickel may have thought he did 2 diamonds transfer, but didn't. Nickel and Katz have played many, many years together at this point. They've been regular partners ever since Nickel's partnership with Richard Freeman, or Dickie Freeman, ended when Freeman passed away way too early. We have a confirmation from the view graph operator that this is the correct auction. So something has gone wrong in the early going. There are quite a few boards left. In fact, 7 days of 45 boards per day. So times 4 is 280. That's somewhere around 315 boards. And I was taking a peek at the feed from the other table in this match, but that feed has become disconnected. So Nickel is perhaps answering aces or key cards if he thinks 4 spades is Roman key card at this point. The good news is that when you are having an auction where you're unsure, you shouldn't just pass. You should try to bid whatever you think might help clarify the situation for partner. Our excellent view graph operator is pointing out that Nickel is doing quite a bit of writing on his notepad to his screen mate, which would be Mr. Garcia. Most of us are aware that there is a full screen across the table diagonally. It runs from the northwest corner where we see the little view graph symbol with board 2 listed. And it runs to the southeast corner. So north and east are screen mates, and south and west are also screen mates. Neither of them can see their partner at this point. So Nickel just simply says, I'm going to bid 6 hearts, and that's going to be a successful contract on this particular hand. Again, we can see that Nickel can't be attacked in spades, East being on lead against Nickel's 6 hearts, and that after the trumps fall out, 1 spade can be discarded quickly on the high diamond, and the club finesse will eventually be unsuccessful, but 12 tricks will be taken. It turns out if Cat bids 6-no trump, he'll have 6 heart winners. If the opponent's lead a spade, he'll generate 2 spade winners is 8. A club is 9 and 3 diamonds is 12. So it turns out that even if this auction results in a 6-no trump bid, that there will be 12 tricks available with no way for the defense to take 2 tricks in a no trump contract. So if for some reason Cat thinks that spades are trumps, I think Nickel will convert to 6-no trump, and they will have gotten out of this successfully. So Cat passes 6 hearts, and we now have concluded that this contract will be successful. Good morning, Jerry. Good morning, everyone. Not sure you can hear me, but let me know if I come in loud and clear. Yes, good morning, Carl. Of course, it's evening here in California, USA. Welcome. Certainly appreciate the assistance. Don't know if you saw the auction here, but there was a little confusion, ending up in a contract that's going to be successful. Yeah, it's morning here, so I'm waiting for my first cup of coffee, and I think I landed in a safe spot, so the play is not too difficult. Is it still dry out there, Gary? Sorry, I lost my connection for a second, Carl. It's very dry in most of California. I happen to live in Palm Springs, and we sit on top of a vast reservoir of water here. When we have too much rain, we'd be happy to send you some. I'm sure California would be very grateful. And I'm taking a peek at the other table, and we're not getting a feed from that table. But no matter. Onward. Well, we see that Nickel has what many consider a tough hand to bit. 5-4, 3-1 distribution with about 22 high cards. This is one of those death-type hands in bidding problems where you almost have to start with 2 clubs in standard American, but then you're forced to the 3 diamond level just to show your first suit. The kid said I'm hard to hear, so. Carl, maybe some of our spectators aren't aware that there's a slider on the screen toward the lower center under your name. That slider can be moved to the right to get more volume on your voice broadcast, or it can be moved to the left for less volume. I hope you all heard that. So it turns out Katz and Nickel had a perfect bid for this type of hand, which is otherwise difficult to show in standard American. The 3-spade bid by Nickel is used by some to show a 4-card major and a 5-card minor when Katz, and it's probably spades and diamonds. So when Katz heard that, he has stoppers clearly in the other 2 suits and a weak hand, and made the obvious 3-no trump call. So the Americans are in a very sound contract. Let's see what they can make. It looks like this one is quite impregnable unless someone sees something that I don't. Do you have any views, Carl, on how many tricks will come forth here? No, I think it's very hard to stop this when there's just about 3 diamonds, 3 clubs, 2 spades, and somehow they had to help a diamond. They'd be the best return now. Do we have 8? Does he have to work with a 9? Now he does. No. That helps. But if he continued diamonds, you have 3 diamonds, 3 clubs. To pick the spades, but that would work out. So he had 9 anyway. I think if East had the king 10-4 of spades, it might have been a defense if East had returned a diamond instead of a heart, because South has limited entries. It's interesting that Katz chose to discard the Queen of Spades from dummy. Apparently he's going for a squeeze, which didn't develop. He was going for minor suit squeeze instead of a major suit squeeze. Anyhow, I don't think they spend too much time on the hand. They know they have 9 or 10 tricks on it, or 10 or 11. So and it looks like USA1 has drawn first blood. Well, Now the score is being corrected. We did apparently have a first board score of 3 imps, but I'm looking at the other table and seeing a pass out, which surprises me. So we don't have a feed from the other table, and looks like maybe the feed is just starting again. Indeed, Rodwell and Mextroth are sitting in the closed room at this point. Okay, so Pellegrini has a balanced 16 high card points. Again, I was given their WBF convention card, but it's a little bit more complicated. I believe they play strong no trumps. And in that case, East will have a simple statement inquiry followed by a likely 3-no trump call. So we know, folks, the score is incorrect. USA1 does not have 37 imps. The other table has been offline and has all zeros entered for the first 3 boards. So I think they're trying out a new system here of sending the player names and the scores perhaps wirelessly from each table to a main control center. This new system is, if so, is still a bit experimental, and we don't know the actual score of the match at this point.
So far, it's very advantageous to the Americans, but it will be corrected in due course. This looks like North will open their black suit and play out a double finesse and diamonds. This be a mundane, I think, 3-no trump.
So I'm getting the feed from the other table, but it shows another pass out. So again, something has gone wrong with the apparently attempted automatic wireless feed of scores. But no matter, we'll find out at the end of the match. Again, there are going to be 21 sessions, a complete round robin. And we're just on the first 4 boards of about 315 boards, I think I calculated. Yeah, 21 rounds, 315 boards, 1 set out, so that would be 300 boards per team.
Gary, are the scores correct? A 3-no trump making and down 2 at the other table, 500. It looks like 11. It looks like the scores might be right.
Well, at one point they had all hands as pass outs, so now they have some scores entered.
I don't have the imp table in front of me.
The problem, Carl, is I cannot imagine how 3-no trump would go down on board 3. I just can't imagine that.
No, it's very difficult. The only thing, like I said, if you get a heart lead return to diamond, South has very limited entries to his hand. North lead a spade off dummy to the Jack King, and hearts cannot be set up. That'd be the only way I alluded to first time, if there was a problem, but we don't know.
Well, I'm wondering if a diamond was led, Carl, and that would be the most effective lead for the defense, but I'm using a new browser and I can't manipulate it without something possibly going wrong. So I'm not going to check the other table at this point, but
Well, I tried. I cannot check the other table, but I think, Gary, if they let a diamond, they could possibly. It's the only way I could see this having a problem. Here I thought that Pellegrini would overtake and let diamond off dummy, but he has other ideas, so he has 4 spades, 2 clubs 6. I wonder why he didn't do that. That would be to me, I think perhaps odds on how to play it. I don't, hard suit you can't work. It's difficult to work on it. I wonder if he overtook or, but let's see what happens.
well, again, at least our screen shows a pass out on board 4 at the other table, and there's just no reasonable way that that this would be a pass out. Obviously, Rodwell and Mextroth would get the 3 no trump on these 2 hands. So something is awry. We don't know what. We'll just watch the play at this table. And it looks like he did overtake, because he is in dummy to lead the diamond and take the double finesse.
Yes, and he is. Now he has no problem. They get what's in the club, so this will make. Sorry, 1 heart. And no, they get 2 hearts in the clubs they can get.
Well, Carl, before you joined us, we were talking a bit about view graph operators. We're familiar with the fact that they try to find local operators at these tournaments, and of course, perhaps many of the Indians have not been involved in broadcasting on BBO. We seem to have an experienced operator, thankfully, at this table. I'm going to hazard a guess that perhaps at the other table we have somebody new. And of course, on BBO, we're quite tolerant because we're very grateful for the assistance that operators provide us. And if we have a new operator, that there will be someone on site, maybe Trian Chira, who will work with that operator and over the course of a couple of sessions, get them up to speed.
Indeed, and sometimes also if the wireless and the connection is unstable, they fall out. But my thinking is that on the other table they still not updated board 4, because in the beginning they were listed as pass out hands, and I think they'll be online. They come along as we go on here. Of course, on this board, North South will only get 1 heart tricks, as South has no more entries to his hand. So, B11 tricks.
I think North will make his ace of clubs, so probably end up with 10 tricks once we get this hand done.
That's right, I'm still working on the coffee, 10 tricks. Looking at all 4 hands, we like to say like Joey Silver does, makes, but they're at the table and West will not concede the last trick.
And not surprisingly, the other table is already on board 6. Looks like we have a very slight break in the action here. So Garcia has another balanced 18 high card points. And if he opens 1 diamond, he will get a 1 heart response by partner and may have the same interesting 3-note trump call that he made on the first board to show a balanced raise to 4 hearts.
Well, East-West are playing a strong club system here.
Their card doesn't show a strong club, Carl. It shows a 15 to 17 opening 1-note trump, weak 2 bids and 3 suits, and a strong 2 clubs. So it looks like they play a very similar system to what we call Eastern Scientific, and almost like what Katz and Nickel are playing. They do have this interesting 3-note trump call to show a balanced raise to 4 hearts. And there they are. Looks like they may have a may have a spade and a diamond loser, and I don't see too much else for them to be losing. So it looks like they'll probably make 450 here.
Yeah, it's similar to the Polish club, it looks like.
Looks like they have an option of opening one club or one diamond. I'm not entirely clear on the theoretical basis of their system. But apparently they can't open a diamond with 4 diamonds and 333. So one diamond tends to at least have one doubleton and at least a 4-card with a 4-card or more diamond suit. So we still haven't gotten a correction on board 4 yet. I'm guessing we have a newer operator at the other table, and that's okay. That operator will get a lot of experience in the next day or so, and then turn into a very good op shortly.
I'm trying to locate the link to the convention cards, so I'm going on the site to see if we can find.
All right, I can report to everybody that this board is in play at the other table in a 3-heart contract. Also like to point out that board 4 is probably misscored and is probably a push board and not a 12-imp swing to Argentina, and we expect that score to be corrected shortly. So East opens a happy 1 heart, certainly 11 high card points and a singleton, and a reasonable 5-card major is an opening bid in most systems these days. We don't have an alert of the 1 no trump.
It may be a forcing no trump, and West having the 10-11 limit raise, 3-card heart support. I will show it next time.
So our view graph operator is giving us a nice link which shows swings only on boards 1 and 2 and 1 imp swing on boards 3 and 4. So it looks like the score is 24 for the USA and 2 for Argentina at this point for a 22 imp margin.
Well, Gary, my My computer is not updated yet on this.
So Cats is pre-balancing with a takeout double for the other two suits. One can do this non-vulnerable without too much risk, and it also gives North-South the option of trying to push East-West higher if they find a black suit fit, which indeed they have.
Looks like 5 clubs is a good sacrifice versus 4 hearts. Four hearts may also be beat by diamond rough if they stay off the spades and the clubs, or stay off the spades. I think 4 hearts may be, it's not a lay down here, and they may not get there.
I don't have the auction at the other table, but I do see that 4 hearts made 5, so that is the unusual result off 3 aces, but again, it may have been misscored.
Off 3 aces and a diamond rough.
Or possibly the Jack of Diamonds if diamonds aren't let. Meanwhile, though, we are having some difficulty in the early scoring, and we'll bring you whatever information we can when we have it.
It's interesting that Pellegrini has a typical 10-11 3-card support in hearts, and 2 over 1 you get a no trump of 1 heart and then go back to 3 hearts. In this case he's shown diamonds, then he's jumped to 4 hearts, and opposite the minimum hand. It's kind of, it appears to me they're violating the system rules, but there may be something I'm not aware of.
Well, I would have to agree, Carl, that I don't see any substantial benefits in the west hand other than the approximately 11 high card points that a 3-heart jump would show. Certainly has no distribution. While he has somewhat of a diamond fit, we can see that it's not all that substantial. And perhaps it's just vulnerable optimism that caused West to jump to 4 hearts. We do know that 4 hearts was bid at the other table. Don't have the auction in front of me. So the defense has a roadmap here, of course.
On my screen, Gary, it says 3 hearts down 2 at the other table.
Well, I think that's another possible operator error. I have a running score that our operator gave us the link to a moment ago. Apparently now we have some live videos as well. Thank you for that assistance.
And that appears what it was. They went down 2 and 3 hearts at the other table. Typical 201 auction, 1 heart, 1 note, 2 diamonds, 3 hearts, north, south, didn't interfere. So we see here they be off 3 and 3 more imps to the United States.
Well, this is no surprise and no reason for concern. Scoring and communication issues are very complicated at World Championships. This, of course, are the very first few boards, and no surprise that they're figuring out the system, and no doubt it will be operating quite smoothly, and that we'll also have experienced operators within the first day or so of this 14-day championship. There is a live feed of
on the link they gave us, the board 3 and 4 is 1 imp to Argentina, and each board. Board 1 and 2 are scored correct. But I have a suspicion, Gary, I'm looking at a different screen than you are here. I believe the correct score right now is 27-2 United States.
So it turns out cats passed a balanced 11 count. They don't open 11 counts with balanced distribution. Pellegrini clearly has a 1 club opener. Cats is now able to enter to show at least 4-4 in the majors. Again, a form of pre-balance. Presumably Nickel will consider bidding hearts, although perhaps not at the 3 level.
So West shows a long club suit here, not extras as it could have redoubled. I'm not sure what redouble would have shown, but obviously here it's a weak hand 3 club bid.
That's a good point. 3 clubs become semi-preemptive on this auction. Nickel with a singleton and a good 5-card major is willing to compete. Looks like North-South have a couple of diamond losers and at least a couple of spade losers. East, of course, feels that with 1 heart stopper, 3 no trump is a good call. This may suffer the similar fate to the 3 no trump contract on board number 3, or board number 1, excuse me. Again, we're having trouble getting the correct scores in. The official run-in score still shows board 5 as a 4-heart contract at both tables, and I'm sure that will be corrected shortly. So this will be interesting, Carl, because depending on Mikhail's play or signal, when Declare wins the king of hearts, it's a little bit unclear. I'm sorry, am I coming through at this point?
You're coming in loud and clear. I'm looking at the 10 of heart lead, what they use if it shows the ace of higher ones or not, you know. But I think Katz will probably looking at dummy. He probably have to realize that the tricks have to come from hearts. Also interesting to see that 3 heart bid by North actually. Garcia didn't have a choice in bidding. He had to bid 3-no trump if he's going to be there. And as to taking away the 3 heart inquiry bid he might have had otherwise. Mikkel Katz have played so long, so they should have the signals in order here.
Well, of course, when Declare ducks, there is no further cause for concern by Katz, and the defense will eventually take at least 4 hearts and the ace of clubs. So, Carl, I see we have 16 boards on our score sheet or my results screen. I also see 16 boards on the running scores, but they're allowing 2 hours for each segment. That surprises me a bit because in the USA at our national championships we allow 2 hours and 15 minutes for 15 boards. I'm not sure if they're going to adjust these time frames or whether they expect the players to finish 4 boards every 30 minutes behind screens.
Does that include in US they also deal the boards by hand, Gary? Here they're pre-dealt. Does that include the time to shuffle and deal?
No, not at all, Carl. In all of our championships, the boards are pre-dealt and stacked at each table. There's no exchange of boards. Each table gets the same set of 15 boards and keeps those 15 boards throughout. So there's no caddies, no time for exchanging boards. So I am curious as to how they arrived at 2-hour segments here, but somebody may explain that to me in the course of the week.
I know in the old days it was eight boards an hour, but some players need a lot more. I'm going to post where I think the official scores is. We can find the official scores. The scores I have on my screen is not correct, so Kips can take a look there.
I think the score is in the low 40s for the USA and 2 for Argentina. Is that what you calculate at this point, Carl?
I have 27-2 for the US.
Well, I just show that 3 no trump was made at the other table on this board. That may be a mistake, though. I frankly don't know at this point.
No, they just posted that, so that's correct. That'd be 40-2. So I think we're in tune. What I looking on my screen in front of me from this table, this does not reflect the actual score. The link I posted, you'll find, I believe, what's the official score is.
So we have a sound one diamond opener by Nickel. Some Easts would not overcall a heart with this suit. King Jack 7-4-2. Certainly Jimmy Kane and his philosophy is that you have sound overcalls with good suits even at the 1 level. Cats makes the fairly obvious negative double with 4-4 in the other 2 suits. Nickel will bid some number of spades.
I think non-vulnerable, quite a few players would overcall with these times. But often you tell more, you lose more than you gain by bidding with this hand when partner is open with a pass. As you tell the opponents where the cards are.
So Nickel makes, I think, what essentially is a jump to 3 spades over the negative double. First cue bidding hearts and then bidding spades. It's not clear to me that this is forcing, but of course Cats has a fine hand and will choose either 3 no trump or 4 spades at this point.
I think Cats will bid 3 no trump with a weak spade suit and double heart stopper.
So Karen Ellison is addressing board 4. And Karen, I think board 4 was just an overtrick, a 1 imp difference instead of the 12 that seems to show up here. So Cats is actually making a bit of a slam try, but this will end very quickly when one of them bids 4 spades.
And North-South, do they play a strong club opening, Gary? I don't think they do. North is 17.
Not at all, Carl. They play a very straightforward Eastern Scientific with 15 to 17 point no trumps, and we now finally have the correct score posted. And indeed, Karen Ellison was correct. The score is 40-2 after the first 7 boards. So let's see what might happen here. Looks like there are no heart losers, one club loser and one diamond loser. It appears that 11 tricks is the most likely result here. See if there's anything that can cause trouble. I think Nickel will be able to set up a club for at least one heart discard and finesse the 10 of diamonds at some point, rough a diamond in the dummy, and very likely make 11 tricks, but we'll see.
Yes, and that was what happened at the other table. They made 11 tricks. West has shown up with the ace of clubs, and there's basically 7 points missing, so that should be with ace, so he might very well play the 10 here. Since East overcalled one heart. Interesting to note that East also overcalled one heart to the other table, Gary.
Agreed. I think in the Meckwell system it's a very clear one heart overcall. I was just referring to Jimmy Kane's system, who plays quite a bit on BBO almost every day, upwards of 80 or more boards a day still. And he espouses a very sound suit and a very sound hand for overcalling, even at the one level.
And Nick probably made the correct play by placing East with the King of Diamonds and going up with the ace. It could be stiff.
Playing the hand very safely, and we'll end up doing just fine. We'll end up scoring the same 11 tricks, maybe in a different order than were scored at the other table. So again, the score on the screen is incorrect for those of you who just joined us. And USA1 does have a substantial margin of about 40-2 at this point. That last board 8, halfway through the set, was a push, scoring 11 tricks at both tables. The other table is about a board and a half ahead of us.
this is in many ways a strange Bermuda Bowl, as the cheating incidents lately have resulted in several teams withdrawing. So hopefully this will have an effect in the future to eliminate the cheating in this game that we all love. So it'll be interesting to see what will be coming forth going forward.
And for those of you who didn't see the press conference today, there weren't too many specifics mentioned at the conference, but I think one thing that came out is that there's a great need to video every match and post all those videos online so that the bridge community at large can review those if they feel there's any suspicious behavior, review the mannerisms of the players, review the results of the players in light of their abilities, and bring forth questions openly if there seem to be any issues.
And for those interested, on bridgewinners.com there is quite a debate, comments, suggestions around this. So, and I agree with what you say, Gear. I think that video will become mandatory in these events, and people will be scrutinizing the plays, and I think that would help to clean up the game, but perhaps there's too much money in it. I don't know. Could be the reason. Often it is when it comes down to cheating.
I can report from a posting on Bridge Winners earlier today that the WBF is requiring every player to sign a 20 or 21 point declaration or statement that they're playing at the pleasure of the WBF, that they're going to obey and follow all rules, both the laws of bridge and the rules and regulations of the WBF, that they could have their credentials removed at any time, and that they are subject to anti-doping tests, as well as tests for any concealed items or electronics on their person. This is pretty extensive. It was about 3 pages, and it basically says that you have a right to play in a world championship if you're clean, both of drugs, of improper communications, or of anything other than following the proper laws of duplicate bridge. It looks like the players are taking a brief break, which is no surprise at the end of 8 out of 16 boards, and the view graph operator can't even receive board number 9 until the players are back at the table. I do know that they're on board 11 at the other table, so not quite sure why the view graph operator is waiting, but perhaps they're regulating things much more carefully than they have in the past. I know as an operator I had control of all 15 or 16 boards of a segment, that I could bring up any board at any time. That may not be an option here in India, where there are a number of tables being broadcast and perhaps a number of newer operators at those tables.
Obviously, we've been left out in the cold for a while, so hopefully back live on board 10. It appears we have a slam in the making. If we can get through it, east-west can in fact make a grand in both clubs, no trumps and hearts. The problem is to get there. At the other table, East opened one no trump. Let's see what they can do here. I think Pellegrini made a good bid here. He set clubs as trump with his aces and his stiff diamond. And it looks like East-West is on their way to a slam and a nice pickup here. Just at a glance at the other US team, I think Denmark is leading them 29-1. Denmark is the team that substituted Monaco, and Monaco, Fantoni Nunes was accused of cheating and they withdrew the team. East now will likely redouble to show his first round control, which will again help West. So I'll be very surprised if they don't hit slam here. West's hand is getting better and better with ace of diamonds with partner. 3 top tricks in the major suits and a nice 3-card support opposite partner's long club suit. well done by East West, and a nice sorely needed points here. Imps. So I guess 12 or 13 imps. I don't have the imp table in front of me. The actual score is 40 to 4. It's not 51 to 14 as listed up on your screen. So score now 40 to 16, going to board 11. There's another slam coming up that Macwell did not bid. Usually they bid most of them, so if Pellegrini Garcia should be doing this, be kind of surprising. Perhaps in the closed room, West gave up a little bit too early after partners Q bid up 4 diamonds. So we'll see what I get here. East is off to a very good start for music to West ears. He's getting it, showing a good hammer, 2 spades. I don't know what it shows for the 7 points, but let's see if this helps them get to slam here. The other table, he's bid 2 hearts. Partly bid 2 spades, and he bid 3 diamonds. I assume being a Q bid or card showing. They didn't get any farther. Again, well done to the Argentinians, outbidding the US, the slams in the last 2 boards. So the score in this match after 10 boards is 40-16 to USA 1, and this will be 42, what is it, 27-28 after this board. the operator points out, the 13 tricks help will be squeezed between the black suits to show off squeeze, because here doesn't have to work for it even. Not sure why he played it that way, but always at 12. So the score is 40-27 US. Four spades went down one at the other table, played by North. And the diamond lead set it. If you don't get a diamond lead, you have prospects of making, you may make four spades here. Four spades may appear to be aggressive, but at imps being vulnerable, you tend to bid very close games, as the payoff, the bonus for winning game is 500. The theory is that if you have about 37% plus chance for making it, you should bid it. That's probably the reason why South bid, Cats bid four spades, didn't invite partner. And as we see, this will likely go down. The diamond leaders will take a diamond, a club, and two spades. see that, Nickel? Let's put Garcia to a test here. So big payout to the US on this board. The US back to about 51, 52 to 27, I believe the score is. It's a lucky game making by East-West. Everything is placed right. Ace of diamonds in front. Ace jack of hearts together. And the ace of spades in front. So odds are probably very low for this making in the offset. It looks like a spade, a heart, and a diamond loser.
Hello again, Carl. I went to the other table when this table was down, and they're now just finishing board 16.
Oh, welcome back, Gary. I noticed that the Americans have been outbidden on the slams this last few boards, and board 12, the East-West, let them make your 4 spades, which we all could see were down, but easier from this view than at the table.
Indeed, we didn't see the play at the other table. I think the view graph operator lost the play on a couple of boards, and all we saw was the first few tricks and then some claims. Indeed, as you point out, and as we all need to be well aware, we can see from our catbird seat every card in every hand. The players, not surprisingly, don't have that advantage, and as BBO commentators, we try to remember that it's much harder at the table when you're only looking at 2 hands than when we're looking at all 4.
Indeed, I agree, Gary. Now, I think that on this hand, I'm not sure that East-West will make the same 10 tricks. It's actually not, everything was placed favorably, but it's not that easy to play not put in the 6 of hearts now and force. The dummy is dead. And we probably end up at 9 tricks.
Well, the hand starts to play itself. However, Nickel has to rough with the 6 of hearts to have a chance for holding it. Now they're going to make 10 tricks because the cross rough ends up playing itself. Dummy roughs, and then another club with the queen of hearts, and then exit a diamond, and North is forced to lead a heart. And West makes all of the hearts except, of course, for the ace. So 10 tricks will just sort of fall into declarer's lap at this point. And yes, the slam betting by the Argentinians is very impressive. They made a big comeback from quite a margin. As we know, the score on the screen is not correct. The current score is 52 for USA1 and 27 for Argentina, which would translate to about 16 victory points to 4.
Now we see what Gary mentioned, that North